Once a daytime sensation that captivated millions, Santa Barbara wasn't just a soap opera, it was a television phenomenon. With its sweeping romance, unforgettable rivalries, and a cast of iconic characters, the series left an indelible mark on pop culture. But over 30 years later, where are the stars who brought Santa Barbara to life? Who stayed in the spotlight, who stepped away, and who left us too soon? Join us as we revisit the beloved cast of Santa Barbara, from their unforgettable roles in the 80s and 90s to where life has taken them today. Get ready for nostalgia, surprises, and heartfelt tributes in this special look at Santa Barbara. A Martinez portrayed Cruz Castillo in Santa Barbara, 1984, when he was 36 years old. Cruz is a principled and passionate detective in the Santa Barbara Police Department. As a Mexican-American, his character marked a breakthrough for representation on daytime television, balancing strength and sensitivity with moral integrity. Cruz is best remembered for his epic love story with Eden Capwell, a wealthy heiress from a powerful family. Their relationship, filled with deep emotional stakes, social divisions, and dramatic twists, captivated viewers and became a legendary soap opera romance. Cruz often found himself torn between justice and personal loyalty, making his journey one of constant sacrifice and inner conflict. In real life, a Martinez, born September 27, 1948, built a lasting career in film and television, appearing in series like Longmire, General Hospital, and The Bold and the Beautiful. Known for his intensity and authenticity, he remains active in the industry as of 2025, at age 76. Marcy Walker portrayed Eden Capwell Castillo in Santa Barbara, 1984, when she was 23 years old. Eden is a fiercely intelligent and emotionally complex heiress from the wealthy Capwell family. Despite her privileged background, she exhibits depth, ambition, and vulnerability. Her romance with Cruz Castillo was central to the show's emotional core, torn apart by family secrets, criminal conspiracies, and even psychological trauma, including a gripping storyline where Eden develops multiple personalities. Marcy's portrayal of Eden earned her critical acclaim and solidified her as a daytime television icon. The love story between Eden and Cruz broke cultural barriers and is still remembered as one of the most beloved soap pairings in history. In real life, Marcy Walker, born November 26, 1961, stepped away from acting in the early 2000s to pursue a career in Christian ministry. As of 2025, she is 63 years old and continues to serve as a children's ministry leader, dedicating her life to faith and service. Nancy Lee Gron portrayed Julia Wainwright in Santa Barbara, 1985, when she was 27 years old. Julia is a brilliant and fiercely independent attorney with a strong moral compass. Initially brought in as a legal mind in the courtroom, Julia quickly became a fan favorite for her sharp wit and complex emotional life. Her romantic relationship with Mason Capwell, a man plagued by his own demons, formed another pillar of the show's enduring appeal. Their love was passionate and often troubled, marked by heartbreak, alcoholism, and redemption. Julia balanced strength and vulnerability in equal measure, making her one of the show's most compelling and layered female characters. In real life, Nancy Lee Gron, born April 28, 1956, continued a successful career in soap operas, best known for her ongoing role as Alexis Davis on General Hospital, which she began in 1996. As of 2025, she is 69 years old and remains an active actress and outspoken advocate for social issues. Jed Allen portrayed C.C. Capwell in Santa Barbara, 1986, when he was 51 years old. C.C. Capwell is the powerful, uncompromising patriarch of the Capwell family and the founder of Capwell Enterprises. Dominating both the business world and his family's lives, C.C. is a man of ambition, pride, and occasional cruelty, but also of fierce loyalty to those he loves. His presence loomed large over every storyline as he wielded wealth and influence to shape outcomes and protect his empire. His relationships with his children were often strained, especially with Eden, whose romance with Cruz he strongly opposed. Over time, glimpses of warmth and regret humanized CC, revealing a man torn between power and personal loss. Off-screen, Jed Allen was beloved for his roles in Days of Our Lives and Beverly Hills, 9210. He passed away on March 9, 2019, at the age of 84 due to natural causes. In his final years, he remained cherished by fans for his commanding presence and his legacy as one of daytime television's most formidable figures. Robin Matson portrayed Gina Timmons in Santa Barbara, 1985, when she was 29 years old. Gina Timmons is one of the most deliciously devious characters to ever grace daytime television, a cunning, seductive schemer whose plots and manipulations caused chaos across the Capwell empire. Whether blackmailing, lying, or pretending to be someone she's not, Gina always had an angle, and Robin Matson made every scene with her sparkle with wit and danger. Despite her villainy, Gina was never one-dimensional. She craved love, security, and respect, even as she used underhanded means to get them. Her complex relationship with CC Capwell, her shifting alliances, and her unexpected maternal instincts gave the character surprising depth. Robin Matson became a daytime staple because of her charisma and versatility, later joining General Hospital as the infamous Heather Weber. As of 2025, she is 69 years old, and though she stepped back from acting in recent years, her legacy as one of soap opera's most iconic vixens remains firmly intact. Lane Davies portrayed Mason Capwell in Santa Barbara, 1984, when he was 34 years old. Mason Capwell is the brilliant yet tormented eldest son of the powerful Capwell family. A gifted attorney with a razor-sharp wit and biting sarcasm, Mason is equal parts intellect, cynic, and lost soul. Haunted by the expectations of his domineering father, CC Capwell, and his own deep-seated emotional wounds, Mason often buried his pain in alcohol and self-sabotage. Yet, his love story with Julia Wainwright brought out the humanity beneath his defenses. Their bond, intense, argumentative, and ultimately healing, was one of the show's most profound romances. Lane Davies brought remarkable nuance to Mason, blending arrogance with vulnerability, making him both maddening and magnetic. His abrupt departure left a lasting mark on the series. As of 2025, Lane Davies is 75 years old, still active in theater and respected for his classical stage work. He remains celebrated by fans for crafting one of daytime drama's most intellectually rich and emotionally layered characters. Judith McConnell portrayed Sophia Capwell in Santa Barbara, 1984, when she was 40 years old. Sophia Capwell is the long-lost matriarch of the Capwell family, whose shocking return from the dead sent waves through Santa Barbara. After years in hiding under an assumed identity, Sophia reemerged to reclaim her place in the family she once lost. Her journey was filled with secrets, regrets, and a fierce desire for reconciliation, especially with her children and estranged husband, CC Capwell. Though once presumed drowned, Sophia's resurrection revealed her to be a woman of courage, poise, and unshakable will. She brought elegance and emotional depth to the series, embodying themes of redemption, forgiveness, and the enduring strength of maternal love. Judith McConnell portrayed Sophia with grace and emotional precision, earning admiration for the humanity she brought to the role. As of 2025, she is 81 years old, having retired from acting but still fondly remembered as the heart and soul of one of television's most dramatic families. Nicholas Coster portrayed Lionel Lockridge in Santa Barbara, 1984, when he was 50 years old. Lionel Lockridge is the charming and flamboyant head of the rival Lockridge family, known for his theatrical flair, philosophical musings, and complicated history with Sophia Capwell. Their past affair, and the revelation that he fathered her daughter, Eden, ignited one of the show's most explosive family feuds. Lionel, often clad in silk robes and spouting literary quotes, stood out as both comic relief and emotional depth. While he engaged in corporate battles and personal vendettas, Lionel also wrestled with regret, identity, and a longing for reconciliation. Nicholas Coster brought an eccentric sophistication to the role, making Lionel unforgettable. Off-screen, Coster had a distinguished career across film and television, and he also served as a Navy diver. He passed away on June 26, 2023, at the age of 89, from complications related to cancer. His legacy endures as a bold, captivating presence in daytime history. Robin Wright portrayed Kelly Capwell Perkins in Santa Barbara, 1984, when she was just 18 years old. Kelly Capwell is the youngest daughter of the Capwell dynasty, gentle, idealistic, and often caught in the crossfire of her family's dramatic legacy. From tragic romances to deadly conspiracies, Kelly's journey was a turbulent ride through love, loss, and emotional survival. One of her most gripping storylines involved falling in love with Joe Perkins, a man wrongfully accused of murdering her brother. The relationship was doomed by societal pressure and tragedy, setting the tone for Kelly's often heartbreaking arc. Despite her soft-spoken demeanor, she evolved into a resilient woman determined to forge her own path. Robin Wright's natural talent and screen presence were evident from the start, capturing both innocence and inner strength. She left the show in 1988 to pursue film and went on to have a stellar career. As of 2025, Robin Wright is 59 years old, recognized globally for her acclaimed roles in Forrest Gump, House of Cards, and many other acclaimed productions. Frank Runyon portrayed Father Michael Donnelly in Santa Barbara, 1988, when he was 35 years old. Michael Donnelly is a former hitman-turned-priest, a deeply conflicted man who abandoned violence for faith, but could never fully escape the sins of his past. His introduction brought a new kind of emotional gravity to the series, as he wrestled with questions of redemption, guilt, and purpose. Caught between his vows and his undeniable attraction to Julia Wainwright, Michael represented the struggle between the sacred and the human. His complex friendship with Cruz Castillo, along with his ties to a dark criminal underworld, kept his storyline rich with inner and outer conflict. Michael's character added spiritual depth to Santa Barbara, reminding viewers that even the most broken people could seek salvation. Frank Runyon brought quiet strength and charisma to the role, drawing from his real-life interest in theology. As of 2025, he is 72 years old, now focused primarily on faith-based stage work and public speaking, bridging performance with spiritual storytelling. Louise Sell portrayed Augusta Lockridge in Santa Barbara, 1984, when she was 44 years old. Augusta Lockridge is the sharp-tongued high society wife of Lionel Lockridge, known for her fierce wit, unfiltered opinions, and disdain for the Capwell family. As the matriarch of the Lockridge clan, Augusta was both comic and cutting, a master of manipulation who could pivot between scheming and sincerity in a heartbeat. Her rivalry with Sophia Capwell was legendary, sparking countless confrontations filled with biting insults and unexpected vulnerability. Beneath her haughty exterior, Augusta was a woman struggling to maintain control over a world that constantly shifted under her. Whether blinded temporarily or embroiled in scandal, she always returned with style, defiance, and flair. Louise Sell's performance brought elegance and humor, making Augusta one of the most iconic divas in daytime history. As of 2025, Louise Sell is 85 years old and remains a beloved figure in soap opera circles, having also portrayed the infamous Vivian Alamain on Days of Our Lives with equal brilliance. Gordon Thompson portrayed Mason Capwell in Santa Barbara, 1990, when he was 45 years old. Gordon Thompson stepped into the role of Mason Capwell during a pivotal time, bringing a fresh intensity and charisma to the brilliant but troubled Capwell heir. With Lane Davies having established Mason's foundation, Thompson deepened the character's darker edges, channeling his rage, guilt, and unresolved trauma into courtroom battles, romantic struggles, and family reckonings. His chemistry with Nancy Lee Gron's Julia remained strong, keeping their love story compelling, even as Mason wrestled with personal demons. The role allowed Thompson to explore a more brooding, volatile version of Mason, still brilliant, still damaged, but on a path marked by internal storms. Already famous from his work on Dynasty, Gordon Thompson brought a polished gravitas to the role, reimagining Mason without abandoning his essence. As of 2025, Gordon Thompson is 80 years old, semi-retired but remembered with admiration for his smooth transition into one of soap opera's most complicated legacy characters. Jack Wagner portrayed Warren Lockridge in Santa Barbara, 1991, when he was 32 years old. Warren Lockridge is the passionate and justice-driven son of Lionel and Augusta Lockridge, caught between his family's legacy and his own ideals. As a journalist and editor of the Santa Barbara Sentinel, Warren used his platform to uncover corruption and protect the truth, often going toe-to-toe with the powerful Capwell dynasty. Jack Wagner brought renewed energy to the role when he took over in the early 1990s, playing Warren as bold, romantic, and emotionally raw. His love affair with Cassandra Benedict added intrigue and tension, while his lifelong rivalry with Mason Capwell simmered in the background. Warren was a man who refused to be shaped by his parents' ambitions, striving to make a name for himself on his own terms. Off-screen, Jack Wagner became widely known for roles in General Hospital and Melrose Place, and he also enjoyed a successful music career. As of 2025, Jack Wagner is 65 years old, still active and admired in the entertainment world. Harley Jane Kak portrayed Mary Duval in Santa Barbara, 1985, when she was 28 years old. Mary Duval was one of Santa Barbara's most beloved characters, a gentle, intelligent, and compassionate nun-turned-nurse who captured the heart of Mason Capwell. Their love story was one of the most moving and tragic arcs in the show's history. Mary was Mason's anchor, his chance at healing and hope, until fate intervened in a most shocking way. Her death, caused by a falling C sign at the Capwell Hotel, remains one of the most iconic and heartbreaking moments in daytime television. Viewers were devastated by the sudden loss of such a pure and steadying presence. Harley Jane Kak infused Mary with quiet strength and warmth, making her loss feel both real and unforgettable. Off-screen, Kak went on to become a successful novelist and continued acting in both television and film. As of 2025, she is 68 years old, remembered not only for her talent, but also for portraying one of the genre's most tragically poetic heroines. Christopher Mayer portrayed T.J. Daniels in Santa Barbara, 1987, when he was 32 years old. T.J. Daniels was a rugged and enigmatic businessman with a dangerous charm and a mysterious past. His arrival in Santa Barbara added a seductive tension to the series as he pursued romance with Kelly Capwell and became entangled in high-stakes corporate and criminal schemes. TJ was a man of ambition and secrets, often balancing on the edge between redemption and self-destruction. Christopher Mayer brought a brooding intensity to the role, capturing the vulnerability beneath TJ's bravado. His performance offered viewers a character torn by ambition, love, and personal demons. Mayer was previously known for his role as Vance Duke in The Dukes of Hazzard, and his presence in Santa Barbara added both star power and emotional grit. Tragically, Christopher Mayer passed away on July 23, 2011, at the age of 57, from natural causes. His portrayal of T.J. Daniels remains a memorable part of the show's darker, more mysterious chapter. Joe Marinelli portrayed Bunny Tagliati in Santa Barbara, 1988, when he was 31 years old. Bunny Tagliati was one of Santa Barbara's most unusual and intriguing characters, a cross-dressing casino owner with a big heart and a flair for the dramatic. Introduced as a comic side character, Bunny quickly became a fan favorite for his kindness, humor, and surprisingly layered personality. While his flamboyant fashion and love of performance often drew attention, Bunny's true appeal lay in his loyalty to friends like Scott Clark and his touching search for acceptance. In a show filled with schemers and power players, Bunny stood out for his authenticity and compassion. Joe Marinelli played the role with heart and respect, never turning Bunny into a caricature. He brought dignity and humanity to a role that challenged gender norms on daytime television long before it was common. As of 2025, Joe Marinelli is 68 years old, active in acting and voice work, and still appreciated for bringing one of Santa Barbara's most quietly groundbreaking characters to life. Eileen Davidson portrayed Kelly Capwell in Santa Barbara, 1991, when she was 32 years old. Eileen Davidson was the third actress to take on the role of Kelly Capwell, following Robin Wright and Kimberly MacArthur. By the time Davidson stepped into Kelly's shoes, the character had already endured years of emotional upheaval, multiple doomed romances, family secrets, and brushes with death. Davidson brought a more mature and resilient energy to Kelly, who was now trying to rebuild her life amid constant chaos. Her version of Kelly was elegant, thoughtful, and emotionally guarded, a woman forever shaped by trauma but determined to move forward. Eileen's natural poise and emotional intelligence added depth to Kelly's romantic entanglements and family conflicts. Already a daytime legend thanks to The Young and the Restless and Days of Our Lives, Davidson's time on Santa Barbara was brief but impactful. As of 2025, Eileen Davidson is 66 years old, still acting and widely respected as one of soap opera's most enduring and versatile leading ladies. Kim Zimmer portrayed Jodie Walker in Santa Barbara, 1992, when she was 37 years old. Jodie Walker entered the world of Santa Barbara as a fiercely protective mother with a mysterious past and a deeply buried emotional wound. Her reunion with Cruz Castillo, her former lover and the father of her presumed dead daughter Aurora, formed the core of a gripping late-series storyline. Jodie was a woman shaped by love, secrecy, and sacrifice, whose strength came not only from her resilience, but also from her unwavering maternal devotion. Kim Zimmer, already an Emmy-winning powerhouse from Guiding Light, brought gravitas and fire to the role, commanding every scene with emotional depth and conviction. Jodie's presence added new layers to Cruz's journey, allowing viewers to see a different side of the heroic detective. Though her time on the show was relatively brief, Zimmer's performance left a lasting impression. As of 2025, Kim Zimmer is 70 years old, still revered in daytime television as one of its most commanding and heartfelt performers. Jane Cibet portrayed Jane Wilson in Santa Barbara, 1986, when she was 23 years old. Jane Wilson was a driven young reporter with a sharp mind and a curious spirit, introduced during one of Santa Barbara's investigative subplots. Determined to uncover the truth no matter the consequences, Jane often found herself entangled in the Capwell family's scandals and secrets. Though not a central figure for long, she played a vital role in unfolding the mysteries that shaped the lives of the show's more prominent characters. Jane Cibet brought intelligence and subtle charm to the role, which laid the foundation for her later success in primetime television. After Santa Barbara, Cibet went on to achieve widespread recognition as Carol, Ross Geller's ex-wife, on Friends. Her blend of warmth and comedic timing made her a household name. As of 2025, Jane Cibet is 63 years old, still active in entertainment and humanitarian work, fondly remembered by Santa Barbara fans for one of her earliest screen performances. Gina Galgo portrayed Santana Andrade in Santa Barbara, 1985, when she was 29 years old. Santana Andrade was a complex and often heartbreaking figure in the Santa Barbara tapestry, a woman caught between love, loss, and the cruel power structures of the Capwell world. A former maid in the Capwell household, Santana was the biological mother of Brandon, a child raised by others due to social and familial manipulation. Her battle to reclaim her son and her identity made her one of the show's most sympathetic and determined characters. Gina Galgo portrayed Santana with emotional fire and grace, bringing out the strength and vulnerability of a woman fighting against injustice. Santana's romantic entanglements, especially with Cruz Castillo and later with C.C. Capwell, added further complexity to her story. Gallego's performance helped elevate Santana beyond stereotype, turning her into a symbol of resilience and maternal devotion. As of 2025, Gina Galgo is 69 years old, still active in TV and film, admired for her quiet power and longevity in the industry. Who is your favorite character from Santa Barbara? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.